Last year, I made a video called Why Worrying Isn't Worth It. And I realized after 6 months, I still worry about a bunch of stuff that isn't worth it. I know practically that each day there's a limited amount of cares that we get. We all wake up and have a finite amount of energy, both like physical and emotional energy available to give to that day. And yet plenty of us get stuck in that trap of giving those cares to things that don't matter. And really, it makes it hard to focus and enjoy the stuff that we like because your brain keeps wandering back to the worries that aren't worth it. There are worries that are worth it, things that we do need to think about. But most of the time, a lot of the biggest energy sucks come from things that we really shouldn't assign much value or care about. If you have watched the show What We Do in the Shadows, it's about a bunch of vampires living together. Really funny comedy, but there's a concept I love. One of the types of vampires in the show is the energy vampire or the emotional vampire. And basically, they prey on your attention and your emotions. Think about maybe a really boring lecture that you've had at a school or something, and the speaker just milks it. The room is dead. Everybody is like, this should have ended 45 minutes ago. And they're like halfway through their PowerPoint. You end up leaving those presentations feeling like a dried out sponge. And in the show, the energy vampires prey on that. They love it. They just love to keep you captive and suck all of the fun from the room. It's great because there really are, in all of our lives, emotional and energy vampires out there. Situations and people that just prey on the attention and the emotions, and they will drain your limited supply of care and concern. And it doesn't even have to just be people. I've learned so much in the last 6 to 7 months. It's the stupid phone. It's all of these platforms on the internet, like the social media hubs. It's irritating. They are now designed to suck that energy from you. The most powerful emotions that keep people engaged on an app scrolling a little bit more are the worst emotions ever: outrage and anger. So it's not about becoming apathetic or cynical when deciding what to care about, because you can't just remove cares from everything. It's about being selective. It's about choosing what genuinely matters and deserves your focus, because not everything does. Not every piece of content, not every social media trend or outrage deserves your emotional energy. And I still struggle with this. A lot of times these videos are just a reminder for me to try and be better at it. So practically, how do you get better at this? I don't know. I'm throwing my hat in the ring at what I think helps. I do recognize more, ever since we've started to talk about this more intentional stuff with gaming. I mean, that's where it really started. That intentional mindset has bled into the other areas of my life, and I'm starting to see in day-to-day the kind of emotional vampires that exist everywhere. Where the conversations, the people, the topics that just feed off of anxiety, anger, or stress. And just starting to identify those situations has been huge. Research shows that excessive engagement with social media, for instance, correlates strongly with increased anxiety and stress levels. Like, we know this. It's not a shocker. It's not a breakthrough. And yet people still just gravitate towards these things. I've been moving away from social media for like 6 or 7 years. It's not been that interesting to me, but realizing, oh wait, those same engagement tactics are all over the homepage of YouTube. Like my favorite website, the entertainment hub, the coolest thing ever. I still think YouTube is incredible, but they really have made that outrage side so prevalent on most of the videos that get suggested. Now, obviously, you can curate your algorithm. You can be cautious. You can really try and lean into things that are positive and uplifting, and yet still, your homepage will be full of a bunch of stuff that you didn't really want to see, or tries to pull you towards, can you believe this? Does this not make you infuriated? Like, everything about game discussion now is always from that angle of like, this sucks or it was better back then. And I try to be careful in my videos not to do too much of the nostalgia, like old times are better. There's a lot in the old games and the previous generations that were better, I will say that. But on the social media side, on the internet side, try to deliberately limit the exposure to these sources, the ones that you know drain you. I really don't use Twitter or Facebook or any of that stuff anymore, and it's been really helpful. But on the YouTube side, to still use the site and enjoy it, I mainly just go into the subscription tab, bookmarking that instead of hitting the homepage to see who are the channels that I've liked that have uploaded and what have they uploaded. And that's the old YouTube. Like, that was how the system existed till 2018, 2019, where they really just put the whole world moved to the For You pages. So mindfulness is very important. It's got proven benefits in reducing worry and anxiety by teaching you how to stay grounded and present in the moment, taking a few minutes daily to slow down, to journal, to breathe deeply, to refocus your attention can definitely help when your brain starts to run away about worries that just consume energy. The biggest one is physical activity. I feel like everybody also knows this one, but if you can get some exercise in, especially if you can get it done outside, it will help you clear your mind. It will manage anxiety. Maybe it's just a walk. It's hard in the winter because it's cold. Like, I hate this time of the year hate's a strong word, but January, February is tough when it's dark and cold. Now we're coming into March. It's starting to get more spring-like. The trails are starting to dry up. I know I'll be able to get the bike on the dirt here pretty soon. But for real, if you can do something physical each day, it does help. It does improve that emotional resilience. And honestly, I still slip up. I'm still worrying pretty often about things that are outside of my control. Logically, I know shouldn't care about it. Sometimes you just lean into the emotions. People who play competitive games, they get this. They get this, you know? When I was playing StarCraft 2 or ranked Halo or Street Fighter, tilt was a real thing. And it's been shown, once you get emotionally tilted, you're no longer making intelligent decisions. You're acting from a place of fight or flight. You're worried about losing your points, dropping down on the ladder. And that changes when you're starting to react off of the emotions, the chemical imbalance in your brain. You no longer are making like high-level strategic choices. And yet it's still super hard not to tilt. You see it in professional sports all the time. I mean, look at the Super Bowl this year. You can immediately see who is keeping a strong mindset, trying to ignore the emotions, and who is just letting the emotions, like they're bathing in it. They've already given up, 10 minutes into the game. Ultimately, what helps me is reminding myself that by saying no to some worries, I'm saying a bigger, more meaningful yes to others. Projects, creativity, family, relationships, the things that do matter, the things that you should care about. And that is probably a lifelong journey. I do feel like when you talk to older generations, they figured this out. They figured out what to care about, what not to care about. And that wisdom is transformational. And I don't know if there's a way to speed run through that, or if you just have to continue at it each day, like any other practice, to get better. Still learning, I'm still trying, I'm still messing up, of course, but definitely feel more intentional than I was last year. So if you've got ways to manage your own emotional energy, to care about stuff that matters and to not care about the stuff that doesn't, I would love to hear about it. Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody is having a great day. Have a really good weekend ahead. I'll see you again very soon.